Welcome back to Keeping Up with the X-Men. We are here with Generation X85 because we are restoring the legacy numbers so that we can cancel the book. So let's get going. I still don't understand that. Why you would, like, your marketing research or whatever. If you knew, there's no way you didn't know. Okay, this is the last storyline. The last storyline is Survival of the Fittest. We're on part 1. Once this storyline is done, Generation X is canceled. You knew that. You didn't. It was ridiculous to add this back into the legacy numbering. All you did was make it confusing for us. Now if I collect all of the original books from this run, and I put them into my box here, I'm going to run into a problem where, as I put these into the box, I'm going to go, oh, this is, we'll see, we're on 85, so I'm on like 70, whatever, 76 or something like that, 74. And I get there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like 76 books or something like that. So I get to 76, and all of a sudden, it just jumps to 85. And I'm like, well, where's 75? Where's 77, 78, 79? Where's all those books? And they're like, oh, well, you see, Marvel was a bunch of stupids, and they decided to release those books as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you'll say, why? And I'll say, oh, because Marvel Now and Marvel Legacy. And stop it! Either leave the numbers alone, or if it's going to be a different run, let it finish. This book should have just finished. This is going to cause problems years down the road. Maybe not for me because I'm here when it's happening. Can you imagine? Look, people are born every day, okay? And somebody is going to be 7 years old, and they're going to get into comic books. In fact, I got a kid at work. I got a guy at work that I get 45 different books, but I don't keep 45 different books. When I'm done with, like, the Flash books, I get rid of them. I read them. I want to read them. And then there's a guy at work that his kid is getting into reading and getting into comic books, and I could sell them to that guy. He'll buy them for $1 a book, sometimes $2 a book, depending on, like a Marvel book, I charge him $2 a book because I'm basically getting somewhere around half price. These books cost me $4. He pays $2 of those dollars. They go to his kid. And that's his kid's chance to get into comic books. Well, you know, when he's going through comic books, if he goes to the store and he goes through the backlog and he finds the 50-cent bin, he's like, Generation X, awesome. And he drops, I don't know, say he drops $40 at 50 cents a book and buys himself 80 books. Oh, well, even if he tried to buy the whole run at 80 books, he's going to get like to 75 or 76 or something like that. And then he's going to be like, where's 70? Where's 77? Or where's 78? And he's going to go up to the guy and he's going to say, hey, a comic book guy. And of course, he's going to be at the shop that I left. And he's going to say, comic book guy, what happened to 76? And the guy's going to say, I don't know. I don't read that. I don't keep up with comic books. So, and I get it, not everybody can keep up with every comic book, I get that, but that's what I mean. The guy at the store can't help you. You're going to have to like Wikipedia that crap and hope that the information that the internet gave you is right and talk to other collectors, and you got to like be in the fold of comic books to even start comic books because they do this crap. Now let's go ahead and actually talk about this book now that I wasted all that time ranting like Old Bill Logan. Okay, this is somewhere in the Atlantic, and we saw that Quentin had left, and he did exactly what I said he did. He's kind of self-centered and kind of whiny, and he's a kid. He's a kid. He's a kid with superpowers that's not tagged down, has no family guiding him. A bunch of people crapped on him, and he basically ran away. rather than fess up to his own problems, or that maybe he was slightly responsible, he literally went away to an island in the middle of the Atlantic, and that's where he is now. And they keep trying to get a hold of him. They're like, Benji keeps being like, hey man, where are you, dude? Please just tell me, if nothing else, that you're alive. Just say something back to me. And he's like, oh, I'm a teenager. And he throws his phone. That's a normal thing for teenagers. I don't know if you know this. Maybe you have kids, maybe you will. Teenagers can do that crap. They can take these small situations where in the heat of the moment, something like that happened, they hurt somebody, and then you were like, what were you thinking, man? Settle down. Look at your surroundings. Pay attention to what you're doing, man. And they're like, the world hates me. And they run off to some secluded island, especially if they have superpowers and Krakoa that they can ride on. Like, that does make sense to me that he acts this way. Going back to the mansion, we have Jono and Jubilee, and they're kind of hanging out on the couch and whatnot and sleeping. They're barely getting sleep, and we see that Husk shows up, and this is what I mean about the way I think her powers work. I cannot remember for the life of me, but I think that when she tears her skin off, that layer that is steel, I think it slowly starts to become skin again, because she always has like scales kind of problems, like she's kind of peely. That's always going on with her. And you can see that where her skin is back, so she's not metal anymore. She can't punch through ground and stuff like that. But yeah, she's going normal. And just like I said, she just has a normal everyday life. She knocks on the door, she comes in, she starts doing the dishes. She's like, "Oh my God, look at this place. You got a kid, Jubilee. We gotta keep up on this." And she's like, "Speaking of which, what is going on?" And she's like, well, Jono's been watching Shogo because Shogo won't let me touch him. He freaks out. I don't know what to do. And then she's basically like, we'll come around, we'll figure it out. It goes a little further in to talk about basically your normal X-Men drama. Nathaniel doesn't want to be with Benji because Nathaniel, if he accidentally touches Benji, he might get some of those inner thoughts, and the inner thoughts might not match with the exterior thoughts, and then that kind of messes him up, and he doesn't want to ruin the relationship before the relationship starts. While this is going on, the other lady is kind of I can't remember her name. As soon as it says it in this book, I will mention it, but she's walking around. She's kind of in that invisible state. She's walking around on the complex, kind of checking things out and looking. She's doing something there. We don't know exactly what her plan is yet. But everybody's kind of talking to her, and Eye-Guy sees her. Everybody's talking to Nature Girl, and Eye-Guy can see her, the woman that's kind of floating around back there. And he's like, now his powers are kind of changing. So he doesn't know for sure if he really seen something. He kind of rubs his eyes, and he's like, what in the world was that about? And we go back and do more stuff with the inside, more Shogo stuff, more relationship between Jubilee and Juno. And I like this. This has happened twice now. I don't know why, but I find this so funny. Oftentimes, Jubilee will kiss Jono. And she freaks out after she does it. Every time she freaks out after she does it because she's like, oh, sorry. And then, because he doesn't have a mouth. And she thinks that she's like offending him or something. She worries about it and she kind of runs out the door. We then go back to exactly what I was talking about. In the counseling office, she is a paid doctor. She's counseling mutants. Yes, this is true. But that is a thing in society. She is a licensed professional. She's in society. She's a contributing factor of society. She's integrated. She's a doctor. She's not a superhero. And she's helping Bling kind of come to terms with what her life's going to be. Because Bling is like, I'm the perfect candidate to be an X-Man. And that's probably what I'm going to have to be the rest of my life. I'm never going to get to be what I want to be. And she's like, that's a load of crap. She's like, da-da-da-da-da, and they talk about it. And that's important because it's important to understand that Some of these people are very young. Some of them are only teenagers. They are still literally going to school, and that's what I think that gets lost in translation sometimes. That the Xavier Institute is a school. You are learning there. You are going to classes. You do have a curriculum. You are supposed to be moving towards your diplomas and whatnot. And sometimes that gets a little lost in the whole superhero thing. But I find that Generation X is one of those books where if you want to know the day-to-days, if you want to see the mutants who are not superheroes, this is where you need to be. They have powers, they can do crazy things. Sometimes the craziness of mutants in general surround them, and they find themselves in ridiculous situations, and they go on adventures and so and so and so forth. But there's still a lot of characters that are in the book that don't go on adventures and crap. They're just living life. Oftentimes, Nature Girl doesn't go on big adventures. She's just kind of a part of the school atmosphere. And then sometimes something happens, like when Krakoa tore through the city and the city kind of fell in and all that crap happened. She was out there, but she wasn't like doing superhero things. She was talking to a possum and kind of figuring out where people were in the wreckage by talking to rats and stuff like that. She's not a superhero. She's a person. And I think a lot of Generation X, that's what this is, and that's what made it very interesting. They walk outside and they see what looks like a bunch of ghosts, and then they figure out that they're not ghosts. They're people that are kind of in a different plane of existence. They're like not quite in our fold, so they can't really see us, and we can kind of see them. And Monette is that girl's name because they say, well, what does this mean? And they say, well, that means that Monette's here. And then there's a big explosion inside the school. Boom! And everybody starts running to what that explosion was. And you see Monette tearing through the school. And like I said, not all of these people are just superheroes. She's just tearing right through them. Some of them are just kids in training. One kid is literally just wearing some jogging shoes walking down the hall. She stands no chance. And then Monette starts kind of stalking around the school, and some of the kids go off to hide, and it's kind of a scary situation because, like I said, right now you got Nature Girl. She talks to animals. She can kind of tell what a tree is thinking. You got Nathaniel. If he touches you, he gets your inner thoughts. You got Eye Guy. He can see. Look, guys, that's what he does. Eye Boy, I'm sorry, I always call him Eye Guy. And then you got Morph, which is Ben, and he morphs. Monette is somebody that they can't deal with. And they got Shogo, who cries. And they are trying to hide in the school to avoid detection by what is very possibly something that could easily kill them. It's not good. Like, these are just, that's something that's very interesting about the Generation X books, is that they're not the hard hitters. They're not the X-Men. They're not the standouts. They're not browping lasers across the room and taking down tanks. And like, if a Sentinel attacks the school right now, Eye-Boy's ability to see doesn't help. He's like, I see the Sentinel. Crap. That's what he's got. He's like, I can see its gears and stuff. That's cool, right? And then like you got Nature Girl, and what's she gonna do? Tell a bear to attack the Sentinel and it steps on it? Bang! Like there's powers in the mutant world which don't necessarily make you a superhero. Okay? It just makes you a person with powers. And that is what's interesting about the Xavier dream, is to integrate these people into society, but they still need to be trained in the use of their powers. And that is what I was talking about in the last episode. That's so important about Generation X, to understand the actual real world aspect of these things that are going on, because everything is X-Men, everything is big, explosive, time travel, and magnificent, and then you got to wonder what's going on with the guy whose mutant power is he has giant hairy feet. Yay. You got mutant powers like that are not that extreme, and then you have mutant powers that are quite extreme, and even some of the guys that have extreme mutant powers don't necessarily stay in the superhero game, like Husk. She has pretty strong powers. That's a pretty good power to have, that she could just like be like, oh, we need Colossus? Ah, Colossus. And she could do that. But that doesn't mean that she needs to play the superhero game. And that's something that I was really starting to enjoy about these books. And it's a shame that we're only going to finish this one storyline and then it's going to be over. But hey, guys, you are now all caught up with Generation X. Later.